just thinking of how I felt back then, it's like, it still makes me sad. Like I look at pictures and it triggers something in me that I can't still deal with it. I mean, I deal with it, but like it still hurts me knowing what I went through. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about postpartum depression, my experience, the symptoms that I got, and also things that I did to get better. If you are new here, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you have been following me for a while, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. I make videos all about motherhood and lifestyle. Let's go ahead and get started right on the topic. The reason I wanted to make a video all about postpartum depression is because it was a really hard time for me after my son, and I actually went through it right after having him, but right after having him it was like not severe. It wasn't until my son suffered with eczema that really triggered my depression into like full course, really dark times for me. I have never suffered from anxiety, from depression ever. Like, yeah, I've gone through hard things, but like I knew how to deal with it pretty healthy. This is the first time that I felt very hopeless, alone, even though I had my family with me. So if you're not familiar with what postpartum depression is, it's basically like depression after baby, like right after having a baby. And there's a difference between postpartum depression and then baby blues. Baby blues is normal for most women to get it right after baby. It normally happens 2 to 3 days after having the baby, and it lasts a couple of weeks. That's completely normal. It's basically like feeling overwhelmed, crying a lot, or just like being super emotional, or not bonding with baby immediately. Those are all things that are super normal. But the difference between baby blues and postpartum depression is that it's more severe and it lasts longer. So yeah, that's basically in summary what baby blues and postpartum depression is. And let me read you guys really quick what I found online. Baby blues after childbirth, which commonly include mood swings, crying spells, anxiety, and difficulty sleeping. And then PSD, it's the same thing, but more severe, long-lasting form of depression. It is something that I feel a lot of women go through, but we don't talk about it. When I went through it, I was really open about it and I sought help. But it was really crazy because I didn't find out. A lot of my loved ones or friends, people that are really close to me, I didn't realize that they went through PSD after having baby because it just wasn't something that was so talked about. And I think we live in a world now where with social media, people are able to share a lot more. So it's crazy to me how many people have told me that they're going through it or they've gone through it too. I started going through postpartum symptoms a couple of months after my son was born. I want to say about 3 months. He was about 3 months old. My whole pregnancy was amazing. I had a great pregnancy, no complications. I had a great labor and birth. Everything went great. Can't say that I was going through anything difficult at the time. Financially, relationship, family, everything was great. So we were bringing a baby into a really healthy life, I guess, or atmosphere. It wasn't until he was born though that I started going through a lot of stuff personally, and I'm not gonna get into that, but definitely relationships that were close to me, really tough on me, especially postpartum. So going through personal relationships that were going through problems, that was hard. So that was the first trigger. Second trigger was definitely my son's eczema. Those two triggers combined at the same time and having a baby a couple months ago were like a combination for just disaster for my mental health. I lost a drastic amount of weight. I think I lost about 10 to 15 pounds in about 2 weeks. I wasn't eating, I had no appetite. I was not sleeping at all, and thank God my fiance, he is like nocturnal. He doesn't sleep at night, and almost every night that I was up for those 2 weeks without sleep, he was up with me. So I think that too, the fact that I wasn't sleeping, and even though I was tired and I couldn't sleep, that led me to an even more severity of depression, which led to really high levels of anxiety. There was a few nights where I had to leave my house and go to my mom's house. So me and my fiance and my son would go to my mom's house a few times a week and just stay there because I didn't want to be alone, because when it became nighttime, I was really scared. I was scared and I felt alone. I felt separated from the world, which is like, just thinking of how I felt back then, it's like, it still makes me sad. Like I look at pictures and it triggers something in me that I can't still deal with it. I mean, I deal with it, but like it still hurts me knowing what I went through. So loss of appetite, that was super severe. I lost about 10 to 15 pounds in about 2 weeks. Inability to sleep, I had really bad insomnia. Like I could not sleep even if I was tired. I would be trying to close my eyes and I couldn't sleep for anything. And trust me, I tried all type of remedies to sleep. I tried Benadryl, I tried everything, you know what I'm saying. I tried everything, nothing helped. Overwhelming fatigue or loss of energy, I was super tired all the time. Of course, no sleep. Hopelessness, feeling of worthlessness, shame, guilt, or inadequacy. I felt really high levels of guilt and inadequacy with my son and not being able to help him with his eczema. And also feeling all these negative feelings that I thought, you know, like I wanted him, I waited for him, why am I not happy? Those type of feelings. Panic attacks are real. Like especially at night, I would start crying and I would like start breathing really heavily, and I have to like, my fiance would have to tell me to, you know, calm down, take a deep breath, think about what you're going through and this, and then he would talk me through it, but it was really bad. And that's another thing, I had never gone through panic attacks. Thoughts of dying being easier than, oh yeah, so I never was suicidal. It wasn't like that, but I did have ideas in my head like, you know, it would be so much easier if I would just sleep forever and not feel like this. And that is crazy because if you know me, you know, I think I'm a positive person and I've never felt those type of feelings before. So it was really, really scary. If you're not religious, it's totally okay. Well, you know, to each their own, but my faith, I'm a huge believer in God, but for me, Christianity, I couldn't relate, I couldn't understand it, but I did want to accept Jesus. But when I was going through this dark time, it didn't matter who was near me, what support I had from my fiance, from my family. The only thing that got me through this is Jesus. I cried to him every night, and for weeks I felt like he wasn't there, but he finally answered my prayers, and I can't explain the overwhelming like feeling of his presence that I felt, but something just told me let go and get help. So that's exactly what I did. One morning I woke up, and I should tell you guys I was on a very, very, very strict diet because I thought that a lot of foods that I was eating were triggering my son's eczema because I was breastfeeding. So I cut every single type of food. I was cutting a lot of foods that I thought maybe he was having sensitivities to. So literally the only thing I was eating is chicken plain with a little bit of salt, not even pepper, a few veggies, and white rice with nothing. That was my diet for weeks, and I think even months. Yeah, like a few months. My diet was super, super strict. And because I couldn't eat anything and I didn't have an appetite, that I felt made my PSD even worse. One morning, I just woke up at my mom's house after not sleeping for days and weeks and said, you know what? I'm gonna eat today. My mom had made all my favorites, plátanos fritos, black beans, refried black beans, there was sweetbread, pan dulce, there was coffee with cream. There was all of my favorites were on the table, and that morning that I woke up, something told me let go and stop trying to control everything. And that's exactly what I did. That morning I ate all my favorites and I decided I'm not breastfeeding anymore. I decided not to breastfeed just because what it was doing to my body and to my state of mind, and putting the blame on me that this is why my son was having eczema was because something of that I was eating. That wasn't helping any of us. So I decided that morning after eating that I was done breastfeeding, and I cut him cold turkey, put him on Alimentum Similac, which is like a type of formula that doesn't have like the milk protein that most formulas do, and he did fine with that. But that was the first change, the first drastic change that I did to get out of my PSD. After that, the next day I made an appointment with a psychiatrist. I didn't want to go to a counselor. I didn't feel like I needed someone to talk to. I felt like I needed medication. And you know, it took me a while to accept that, because I really felt that if you believe in Jesus, you know, if you're strong, like, you don't need medication. But you guys, it's not true. Like, I really feel that there's certain things that are there for us to support us and to help us. So the next day, I did make an appointment with a psychiatrist, because a psychiatrist can actually prescribe medication, a counselor can't. I made an appointment, went to go see her, we talked, and basically what she said is like, you know, like, I think that this is just very temporary. What you're going through is tough for any first-time mom or any mom, period. So I'm gonna prescribe to you some sleeping medication, because that's what she felt I really needed, and I knew I needed. I needed to sleep, but I just couldn't shut my mind off. I couldn't sleep. So she gave me these sleeping pills. That day when I came home, I took a pill, and I don't even remember falling asleep. I woke up the next day and everything felt so much clearer, so much better. And I also asked family for help. I was very vulnerable and told them I wasn't in a good place, that I really, really needed help, and that I wasn't feeling good. Postpartum depression is so real, and that it is the hardest thing that I had ever gone through. When you become a mom, your whole life revolves around another person. They depend on you, they count on you to survive. And to me, that was a really, really drastic thing to feel and go through. Even though I was happy my whole pregnancy and I was so happy to have him, it really took a toll on my mental health. So if you are going through something like this, guys, definitely I want to reiterate this, that it's totally normal and that it's okay to not feel embarrassed or ashamed. There is nothing to be ashamed about. Definitely reach out, guys. Family, loved ones, if you don't have family or loved ones, there's support groups, there is doctors that will definitely help you, professionals, guys. I also reached out to my church. At the time, I wasn't part of the church, but because of this whole experience, and becoming a mom, PSD, and becoming a new mom, it opened a whole new thing for me. My faith got a lot stronger. I finally accepted Jesus, because I will tell you guys, and I don't have to explain this to anybody because I know what I went through, but going through all of that, the only thing that I can tell you lifted me up was God. Okay, so where am I now? My postpartum depression only lasted a couple of months, guys. At the time that all the symptoms started to where it ended, where I felt back to myself, yeah, I want to say a full month. Completely to be out of it, a couple of months. I want to say about 2, not even 3 months, maybe like 2 months to be completely out of it. But where am I now? The medication only lasted about a week. I only needed about 6 to 7 days worth. I still have like the full bottle left, but I don't see myself having to use it again. I only needed medications for a short amount of time just to allow me to sleep. Because guys, when you cannot sleep, what happens to your brain, what happens to your mind is ridiculously, it's crazy. Like the things that go through your head, you can't think, you can't see, nothing makes sense. I did go back to my doctor's dermatologist, and we made a full plan for him for his skin to get better. So I did a combination of prescription medication from Western medicine as well as a holistic approach. Overall, I'm in a great place. I'm very happy, and I'm not saying this just because I'm on front of the camera and it's gonna go on YouTube, but I'm a very happy person, grateful for everything that I have and the experiences that I went through. PSD is no joke. It's so real. It's crazy what women go through. But hopefully this video inspires you to reach out, get help, seek help, and to not be ashamed of these type of feelings or things that you may be going through. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and click on the bell so you get notified when I post new videos. I post 2 videos a week. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.